and welcome to episode 150. That's right, 150 of Heresy Accountabilibuddies. Tonight, we are going to discuss the stuff you play on. I'm not talking about caffeine and nicotine. But before... Yeah, I'm talking to you, Duncan. But before we get that far, let's do a quick host shout-out. So I'm Jack with my fellow host of...
Duncan.
And John.
And Jack. We may see a Jamie later on tonight. We may see a Brian later on tonight. When you randomly hear their voice, they're here. If you don't hear their voice, they're not here. So let's do a quick station identification. And thank you to our...
Do you love resin bases? Then go to our sponsor, Elric Hobbies, for all of your basing and basing accessory needs. Use code HERESYABB at checkout for a discount. Legendary Monument Hobbies. Monument Hobbies is a one-stop shop for all of your painting needs. Use code HERESYABB at checkout for a 5% discount on your purchase. Pop Goes the Monkey. Find maker of third-party accessory bits of arms, legs, backpacks, and more, where you can get 10% off your first order over $125 with code HERESYABB at checkout.
And thank you to our patrons also. Without you, Duncan would not be that close to making Ultramarines Army. Because it's the final countdown.
All right, hold on. Let's go ahead and address that, because you wouldn't let me get away with not. I'm going to go ahead and say thanks to Eric, and I mean that in absolutely zero ways. And I also like to thank Jack, because Jack decided to throw his name onto the patron, because, yeah, of course he did. And then because of Eric, we had powerful fabricator Eric over in Louisville. We have 3 new patrons.
Bravo, sir. Bravo.
Thanks for helping torture me. I really appreciate it. I love all our patrons. I pay you all the utmost respect and appreciate all of you for everything you do. I've resigned myself that somehow I'm going to end up having to do Ultramarines next year.
And if you want to be a part of that, all you have to do is 2 ways. We have to get a 50 paying patrons. Easiest way to do that is $1, and then up to 100 total patrons. So if you just want to join and not pay $1, you are also helping the cause. Be part of the problem. Be the whole dang problem, and make Duncan play Ultramarines for at this point it would be ACON 2027, which if that does happen, I would guarantee have to be there come hell or high water to watch the tears roll down his face as he puts Roberto Girly Man across the field.
So I've already figured out the list for this in case it does, when it inevitably occurs. And the 3Cat doesn't include Rowboat. Thank God.
Yeah. Don't worry. You'll end up with a version of him that you'll have to paint up.
Yeah, I already figured that one, Jack. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured you would torture me that way.
Yeah. And I have a very nice, what's the word I'm looking for? The ability to procure very nice Ultramarines Greedo. So many icons. So many icons.
Yeah. I'm absolutely certain you're gonna make me paint the cult logo. I guess.
So many times, sir. So many times. But
yeah, I already figured that.
But I digress. So let's follow our normal theme and have John start us off with what he has done this week in hobby progress. John.
Yeah. So this week, trying to get more prepared for Texas Open. So I went through and during our weekly calls, I finished assembling the big watchtower for Mechanicum. There's like a winch system that was built out. The The cable for the winch system was built out of multiple pieces of laser cut balsa. So it's like, MDF stuff. I thought that was dumb, and so I just replaced it with a chain. And then the cart was kind of closed in by the stairs, so I never put it in. So now I've just got the chain hanging there from a necklace piece. I built a whole bunch of pieces of area terrain, or small area terrain that we'll get into a little bit later. That's 8 pieces of that. And then going into the weekend, I got all of those pieces of area terrain textured with pumice, pre-colored pumice, so that way they're basically done. I might go back and throw in a couple other colors or spot colors and things like that. The giant Aquila statues that I had got based and textured. And then I went through and started applying colors to a table that I built almost 2 years ago, just a bunch of buildings and things using the Frontieris terrain. And I started putting the reds down on the buildings and then started doing kind of spot colors on some of the other stuff. And before recording, I was able to get almost all the first metal done. I'm only going to have a couple colors of metal and then some other kind of spot colors here and there. And then all of the Warcry terrain that I'd built up and based on a month and a half ago, I got all the texture down on those. And sadly, it's been kind of cold, so that stuff hasn't really been drying or as fast as I would like it to. But that's really all I got done. Just 3 tables of terrain.
Just 3 tables of terrain.
The buildings aren't done, but
you absolutely still put us to shame.
What about you, Duncan? What have you done?
Since recording last week, I have found in one of my boxes, because I knew I still had them, I have found the missing bases that I needed for those tactical marines, because I couldn't find them, and I don't know why. But I finally found them. I've got my tactical marine bases for them ready to be sprayed. On my trademark spray double-sided tape and a piece of cardboard that people can't see apparently because my camera doesn't like me. But I got those here ready to get sprayed to start working on them. And I have built everything on Predator number 2 and Vindicator number 2, so I can have those worked on this week during the hobby hangout. I also packed my a box that I have to send over to somebody to get that sent out. I'll have that sent out Monday. That's it. Just stuff. Got stuff done.
Okay.
Jack, what did you do?
I continue to work on tanks. I get the turrets on several different things put together, and then base coated it and started putting down the different colors for that. I'm doing a couple of white turrets. I have another black turret to match another tank that's going to be on the list, and then I changed my list and moved some stuff around, and yeah, which is par for the course. So yeah, still blaming John for all of my woes when it comes to painting super heavies. But on a good side, like, this is a shout out for powerful Coal to Paint. They're doing a special on how-to videos on painting super heavies, where they're doing one video a week, and this last video was, I think, about an hour long on doing the base coats and decaling and stuff like that. It's really good. Really good videos. The first one was cleaning up the fell blade that he's doing. He's doing Death Guard. I can't wait until next week to watch the next video for it. So, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So I think that takes us on to possibly the news.
Yep, sounds like the news.
All right. Oop, I got kicked out of GW.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, me neither. Honestly, John, I'm surprised you're allowed in there at all.
With all the shit you talk on a regular basis?
So this week we saw the release of the Ultramarines 4th Captain, or 6th Captain. Old World Map, Ashes of the Imperium came out. And then the not limited edition, but we're calling it limited edition and printing as many as people say we should print, sold out. What their plans are for restocking this right now, because they said they're going to print as many as people want, but it's still marked as sold out. So we'll have to see what comes of that.
Yeah.
I'm going to skip these special editions. Like, I like special editions, but one, there's no telling how long this book series is going to be.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong there. I want that as a special edition, but they've said they're not numbering them, and they're just going to print them pretty much until the end. So
it really destroys any collector value that might come from it. I mean, you can still get decent money for the not collector editions of all the Heresy books, the first printing, second printing with the different color foils and things like that. To me, the numbering and things like that is what made it cool.
So part of that for me was why I wanted to have it as a collector. But since they're doing that, I don't really see as much reason for me to buy it. I may just stop in my local GW, see if they have one there, and get it that way when it comes out. Who knows?
Yeah, I'll be curious to see how many of the Citadel and other bigger GW shops get of these things.
Me too.
For next week, it's not looking too great either. Warhammer Quest is getting released. We saw this preview during the big preview event a couple weeks ago. They're coming out with another guard book. The Gash is getting reprinted, which is nice. No audio book, which is sad. And that's really it for next week's release. I think GW is pulling their usual slow releases for Christmas now that we've gotten all the boxes that are meant to be Christmas presents. During the week, though, we did get a preview of upcoming Mechanicum units. So these are the Destructors, or Madon Destructors. It looks like they come with IRAD cleansers or Darkfire cannons, which is nice, but there's a few more guns that those guys are supposed to come with that are kind of missing there.
Yeah, but I mean, you get IRAD and you get Darkfire in the kit, and it's a plastic kit. So, I mean, it's the beginning of stuff coming out in plastic for them even further. I, for one, am here for that.
And aren't they?
I like it.
Don't they have a habit of breaking these kits up in like this box get these two weapons, this box get those two weapons now? Like that's like they did it in the past. They seem to be doing it even more now.
Yeah, I mean, so the stock weapon is the Volkite Culverin. I kind of wish they would have had that in there. And the only other weapon they can get is a conversion beamer. So 4 guns wouldn't have been that much worse. Maybe just another sprue, especially because there is another unit of Myrmidons that are all close combat and short range weapons. So if they split that unit up into 2, you're going to end up with 4 boxes for 2 units. That's a lot of shelf space.
You're not wrong. Maybe they'll just do a box of kind of like what they did with the heavy weapons and special weapons and close combat weapons. Who knows?
Yeah. Overall, I
do like seeing these in plastic.
Yes. The biggest problem with the resin ones was there was only like 3 poses and you needed more than 3 of them, so it kind of got really repetitive really fast. There was no swappable parts other than the guns themselves, so there wasn't really a lot of ways to kind of customize them.
Yeah, and these guys each have a servo skull, each have different heads. I'm sure with minimal cutting, filing, and etc., you could probably repose them also.
Yep.
I'm 100% a fan of them. I don't know what they do. I don't know what they are. I know you just said their names, but I think they look cool.
Yeah, I think they look cool as shit.
10 out of 10.
And the fact that you've got
would buy them for
like
myself.
those twitchy bits right there, I think that'd be really awesome. Just to raid this kit itself for bits to make for heretical armies.
It has that anal probe looking thing on the one arm thing.
Yep.
Yeah, like you shove it into somebody's butt and the little arms on the thing like a span so you can see all the way to the top.
Sure, Jack.
I mean, I was going to build these guys out of plastic Magoses that I was picking up pretty cheap, so the things that I was going to use don't clash that badly with them, so it's nice to see these finally coming out.
I agree. I think they're definitely cool.
10
What
out
else
of
we got?
10 would probe again.
Oh, God.
Dark Tide got a midweek release of the new class and playable and payable DLC for Hive Scum. So if you choose to plunk down money, you get access to a unique outfit, unique hairstyles, 6 weapon skins, and unique tattoos. Definitely cool. I probably need to go back to Dark Tide some, but Helldivers has been taking me when I do get some video game time.
I understand
They
that.
also announced that they're making more Space Marine helmets. So we had the Captain Titus helmet before. Now we're getting a Dark Angel specific helmet. Basically the exact same helmet, but instead of having a skull on his forehead, he has a Dark Angel sword.
I'm glad they're putting out a trader helmet, finally.
Is this like a helmet you can wear? Yeah, it's a helmet you can wear.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
And then
What else?
Joy Toy dropped a bunch of stuff, but they're all the same. So we got a new Mark III Ultramarine. This is sculpted to resemble the Mark III plastics that came out in the bigger scale since the Age of Darkness box drop. There was already a Mark III Ultramarine before in the older style of Mark III armor. This one's got the new things that I don't like mainly is the sci-fi circles all over his knees and things like that. But this is basically meant to kind of be the new Mark III design. Comes with a bolter and some extra hands. There was also a Sons of Horus, 1,000 Suns, a Space Wolf, an Imperial Fist, and a Blood Angel. And a Alpha Legion guy.
And a Legion of Undetermined, and a guy of Undetermined Legion that might be Alpha Legion or might not.
Yep. They all
Well,
come
they're
with
all
exactly
Alpha
the same
Legion, so
accessories.
I don't know what John's talking about.
That's fair. That's fair. And these ones are also looking to be a lot cheaper than most of the Joy Toys.
That's about what they run for basic Marines, about $35.
Okay. That's not bad. I mean,
yeah, if you want to pick up an office toy or something like that, you can pick those up. They also dropped that Dark Angel helmet on the website. So for $170, you can get a shirt, the helmet, and the stand. Or for $139, you can just get the helmet and the shirt. Again, everything that comes from Joy Toy can be got cheaper from other places. GW kind of takes the time to ship these things as well. So it's up to you if you want to buy from them or if you want to buy from Amazon or wherever else you can get your Joy Toy stuff.
cool.
Since we're coming into December, a lot of places are starting to run sales. So it's a good time to pick up supplies. It's a good time to pick up bits. It's a good time to keep watch. One of the big ones was Mad Robot, makers of many militia bits, are doing a 15% off all their resin bits until the 1st. So you got a little over a week to take those, depending on when you listen to this. And then our friends over at Monument Hobbies are running an extra 20% off store-wide discount.
Our friends over at Elric's Hobbies are running a 20% discount as well.
Cool.
Don't know if our discount codes will work with those or not, but hey, why not try and see? Give them a shot.
Yep.
I'll say this. I don't know if it will. I think that Monument stuff may. Elric's, I don't think will. But like I said, doesn't hurt to try. And we endorse and use all their stuff. I mean, I've got multiple armies based from Elric's, and I've got this one I'm working on being based from Elric's, and painted mostly with Monument stuff. So they're good people. Throw them some love.
And that, gentlemen, is all the news.
Thank you, John, for that weekend news of everything that's coming out, especially all the Alpha Legion models. It's just fantastic. And now we're going to go on to the special edition talking about maps and you. Maps and you. Yeah, there we go. That's what I'm going to call it.
Terrain.
It's a map.
No.
Yeah, no.
So
technically, it's a map of a battlefield.
Like a few weeks ago, I said I would go and watch all of GW's battle reports on Warhammer Plus. And I can honestly say I'm really surprised at the way they play the game, to be completely honest with you. So I just put up a picture on the screen. What would y'all call area terrain in this?
Can you expand it a little bit?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm gonna go with the area terrain. Would be probably the two pieces in the middle.
Right. So hold on.
So
for those who are listening and not watching,
go to YouTube.
It's a fairly
this is honestly going to be a picture heavy episode, so I apologize for those listening.
Right now I'll just do the overarching commentary here. This is a 6x4 table. There's Imperial Fists versus Sons of Horus. There's lumps of rocky terrain in the center third of the table. There's
rocks all over the place. There's craters
rocks
on
everywhere.
The left. There's craters on the right. There's rocks. There's 3 buildings in each deployment zone and 1 in the middle. And a big white piece of mechanicum scenery in the middle.
Yep, and 2 giant lumps of rock compared to the others in the dead center.
Yep.
All right, there we go.
And it's Imperial Fist versus Sons of Horus.
Let's assume you're using unlimited height GW rules. What would you call area terrain in this? Because in 4th edition, or in previous edition, I would call the buildings area, I would call the rocks area, because you could say that they're taking cover behind the rocks, the large rocks.
I would call the large rocks area.
Yep.
I would not consider them one giant area. I consider them 2 different sections of area.
Yep.
I would
the craters.
I would consider the small craters that are here and there everywhere area. I would consider the 2 L-shaped pieces on the left-hand side probably an area.
One contiguous area?
Yeah, I would call that one contiguous area.
Okay.
No path down the middle.
Yep. So, in olden days, this would be a fairly populated battlefield with decent amounts of area terrain.
Yeah.
My
only concern would be there's not a lot of line of sight blocking.
Yeah, so these Frontiers's things are about as high as a Spartan.
Okay.
There are windows through all of them, which would kind of suck for previous editions. And then the other thing is there's no bases on any of this stuff. The rocks are molded into the table, and the buildings are free-floating.
Yeah, I can get that.
So GW called all the buildings area. Okay. That's it.
What they call the rocks?
Rocks.
Like open terrain at nothing?
Yeah, they just block line of sight, and that's it. Good luck.
Okay.
So watching these really changed the way I thought about terrain in multiple different ways. In one way, I went, okay, F it all. Terrain should just block line of sight. I should build a lot more blocking line of sight pieces and then maybe make ruins special. After watching this battle report, I was like, you know what? Maybe area terrain is the special thing and that shouldn't be used a lot. And then at the end, I started reimagining what I was thinking. I watched 7 games of Heresy. The other 6 were fairly quick. Each one of them was 2 games played over an hour. They just kind of did like a discussion of their building up forces and things like that. They never mentioned cover or I can't see that guy or a cover save once in 7 games.
Are there any behind the scenes on these games? Just before I ask my question.
No.
Okay.
There's a little bit of talking in the other games we'll get into, but it's more like kind of like The Office, where it's like sidebars, like I was totally going to do this, and then I rolled badly.
Anytime I see something from GW with them playing a game, my initial thought is it's not really a game being played. They're going through the movements for whatever marketing they're doing. So it could be literally that's what these 2 people are doing this day, is playing this game, whether they are in the mood to play the game or not, and they're going to make it as efficient in time sync as possible, so they can, if they have to make 3 videos, then they can knock out those 3 videos in a time friendly manner as possible.
Yep.
I'm gonna preface my statement here with a little bit of comment. I've been reading battle reports since the mid '90s when they were in White Dwarf. Videoing, Jack and I have recorded 1 or 2. I've recorded others elsewhere for other people with other people. I get that when you're doing video, you're not recording this guy's moving 5 inches, this guy's only moving 4, yada, yada, yada. But we're obviously recording not for not to sell the game. GW would be recording to sell the game, and I get that. I appreciate the effort they would put into it, but it feels to me like the way they've done this here isn't really a helpful way of trying to teach people the game, which is what I kind of think in some ways most battle reports should feel like. It's a way to show people how the game is played, give them tips on how to play the game, and basically just help sell the reasons to play the game.
Yeah, help sell the reasons, not teach.
Yeah.
And that's an important thing to kind of realize as we go through these is none of these taught anything. This opening game, which was released when 3rd edition dropped, did have these little pop-ups of what the rules are and why they happened. Like there's a unit of Saturnine Terminators, and they went through discussing overheat and overload and things like that. The Saturnine Dreadnoughts shot, and they explained explodes when that happened once. Things like that I liked, that kind of taught you some of the rules. But the minutia of playing the game really wasn't there. And for something that, in my opinion, you pay a hefty premium for, like it's $70 a year, I kind of expected a little more. So we've discussed this 3K game. The other games are 2 of them at 1K, 2 of them at 2K, and then 2 of them at 3K. This is the first 1K table.
Okay.
That's not a 4x6. That's
a 4x4.
Yeah, it's a
probably?
4x4. Yeah, because it's a smaller game.
Yeah.
okay. That's fair.
So looking at this, I would say that those big bases buildings, there's one in south, one to the east, and one to the kind of northwest, our area. And then that
those are on bases. So yeah, I would agree with those being area.
Yeah, I would probably in previous editions call all these rubble piles area as well. I would agree. I would also say that for all of these other games, they did not explain what the terrain was. They just played the games.
I would also consider those 2 the giant rock pillars that are sitting up. I don't know if I'd call those area terrain if you can't really climb on them, but more line of sight blocking.
Yeah, they were line of sight blocking. This larger rubble pile in the middle here was almost a Contemptor Dreadnought high in places. They never touched it. They just had a big melee in the middle around the objective.
Oh, I would probably try to avoid touching terrain too.
And that was their deployments. There was, again, the only time I could even see area terrain coming up in this game is this unit back here in the northwest corner building, because it looks like it's over 3 inches deep, but being that new GW terrain, it's possible that it completely blocked line of sight anyway. And again,
I could see it for what looked to be maybe Iron Warriors down the southwest.
Yeah, but they're not far enough back to matter.
No,
in the terrain. The other game was played on the same table. The other 4 games, each one has its own kind of setup. So then the 2K game. This is.
I'm gonna sense a trend here. Let me guess. Area terrain is the thing on the far right in the middle.
Nope. This one, watching the game, I think the only area terrain was the building in the middle.
Everything else was just line of sight blocking.
Yeah, that seems to be what they're using 90% of their terrain as, is just line of sight blocking. Like it's a shipping crate in the middle of a field. It only blocks line of sight.
Okay. I mean, I
Other
get it
2K
if it's just a shipping crate sitting there. All it is just blocking line of sight. I wouldn't call that terrain. I wouldn't call that cover either.
Right. This is their other 2K game. I didn't get a shot of the armies deployed, but kind of give an idea where they'd go. Again, like this large building back here, I would probably call area, but it's sealed from every angle, so there's no way it could do anything but block line of sight. And again, there was no use of the cover in the game because you've got large fire lanes all over the place.
Yeah. So we're all coming at this from all of us played in first edition, all of us played in second, and we now play in third. We're used to terrain dense tables. We're used to area terrain occupying roughly half of the table, spread out in bits. We're used to line of sight blocking in the middle areas, end areas randomly scattered throughout everything. We're used to like line of sight blocking and area terrain and having to fight sometimes in the middle, sometimes out in the open, sometimes in dense packed stuff. So I get that. And I get them trying to possibly simplify this for their videos because that way they don't have to become involved with rules that they wrote for the confusion that is terrain right now. I get that. And I don't really object to them doing that. But I think they should really, if they're going to saddle us as players with these terrain rules, I think they should, when they're doing their promotional videos, I really think they should actually use the same rules and have to inflict it on themselves as well, so they can feel a modicum of our pain.
Yeah. So I didn't take a ton of photos of the 2K games or the 1K games. I was more interested in the 3K games, thinking that that would kind of be closer to what we're usually playing. So this is the 3K game 1.
I like that terrain.
Yeah, it's a really cool piece of rock stuck into the table, so it'd be a bitch to store. But again, very little area. You've got maybe 3 buildings on the left. They're tiny. They're just little corners of buildings, barely usable, and then one in the lower right corner.
I could see those being area, yeah. I mean,
but they're nowhere near objectives or anywhere that's going to matter on the game.
I have a question. In England, do they play like at a game store? Play like the same type of amount of train that we would play here in the States?
So that's something I've been going through different sites and looking at, and we'll get into that after all these game pictures. From what I can tell, they don't use a lot of the same thought processes that we do in terrain. They use a lot of so kind of the groups that form use a lot of just like bins of terrain, and those pieces are more kind of fluffily built. So you've got buildings that don't really have bases, or if they do have bases, it's cut really close to the building itself. And they also don't play with a lot of the same restrictions that we do. So like in 40K, we're all obviously aware of the goofy L's and C-shaped buildings. That's a mainly American creation. They don't do that a lot. Most of their buildings are GW buildings. A lot of GW buildings are L's, but they don't have the same kind of oversized restrictions.
So...
And then there's the deployment of that mission, which one of them took a Mastodon at 3K, which was kind of ballsy. But
okay, so I'm gonna again
look at the fire lanes here.
I actually like that table. I like that layout.
But I would kind of count these as
area,
some kind of area, yeah.
Yep.
But look at the giant fire lanes in here. This is wide open. Like he deployed this in the best possible place ever. You got wide open areas for things. I would say you would push this to be 25% of the table terrain.
Yeah, I would say at most that's a 25% terrain table.
Yep.
At most. Now again, Jack and I and you, all three of us, and Jamie, now that he's here, all of us, when we're playing on tables, we all are used to significantly more terrain than this. At Adepticon, at an event I'm running, an average table will have maybe not quite as large a centerpiece piece as that is, but there'll definitely be larger terrain. Our friends over at Ferrix, when they run events, there's denser terrain pack than this. I've not gone to a single Heresy event where I have seen this sparse amount of terrain on a table, to be expected.
I mean, it kind of just depends on like the theming of the table. I mean, for the most part, most of them have a lot more than that, but yeah.
Especially when you consider the way the rules are written, that terrain is technically infinitely high. The area. If this was infinitely high, this is just 3 stacked hills, by the way. It's not like an overhang or anything like that. Like, I would probably count these as area. But
I would count every single piece of that as area.
Yeah, even then it's not cutting down lanes of fire.
No, it's not. And I get the battlefields, you're going to have open lanes of fire sometimes. I get that.
Yeah.
But this and predominantly most of them seem to be kind of built to provide lanes of fire to focus combat into split up sections of the board, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And then this was the second 3K game.
Again, field of fire, field of fire, field of fire.
And that is sparse as hell. They took out a lot of the bigger rocks or pushed them to the far corners, moved the buildings in a little more.
Yep, I see it.
And then deployed around it.
Yep.
I can see why Arachnosis are so good now if these are the tables you're deploying on.
Again, addressing what GW does is not what the player base predominantly does. I get it. GW's using these to sell their game, sell their product, and that's fine. If they want to play on those tables, more power to them. Putting big monsters or big stompy robots or large tanks or what have you on these, makes perfect sense. You're showing them off. You're showcasing your product line. Cool. For those of us who don't play with or who don't work for GW and aren't playing inside of a GW studio, I think most of us would say more terrain, please, and more varied terrain, not just more brown rocks. Not just more brown rocks and L's.
Yeah, so that brings me to, I know we all cringed already. This is what a 40K table looks like in a tournament.
Yep. Having designated terrain builds for tables, I think, is terrible.
Well,
I do not like the generic, you will only use these types of buildings, but you can see where there's not a ton of completely unrestricted lines of sight from one deployment zone to the other. There's always something kind of in the way, not a complete, like, I could park a Mastodon right here and you could snipe it from across the table type of thing.
I mean,
I'll agree with that.
Yeah, I mean, the sight lanes are very limited. I mean, there are some, but they're not like multiple. If you park something that has range, you can't fire all the way multiple different angles. So
I'll say this about these tables: they do not provide multiple constant fire lanes that are uncut.
Yep.
They also provide, I'd say, at least a third of the table, if not more, with terrain. Or terrain taking up at least a third of the table.
It's definitely geared for
it's competitive play. Tables. Like this setup right here is ideal for competitive play. Every single table like that is taking an equation out of it for competitive play.
Yep. It is.
So for what this is designed for, this is fantastic.
Yep.
As non-competitive players, we do not like it.
Nope, I agree.
But if you think about all the times back when we were still playing competitive, if we had this other table next to us, our game probably would have went that much better. and we would have scored a few extra points.
I've had that same thought while looking at this.
Yeah.
I mean, that table layout is designed to get people into those like scrums, basically on top of the no man's land objectives. That's what that's for.
Yep. No, I agree.
And your home objective is pretty much unmolested until someone dedicates something to go push it off. Because if you only throw one or two units up this corridor, they'll get popped off by somebody in anywhere else.
Yep. No, I agree. And for competitive play, perfect. For thematic table, it's not that great. But for thematic table, I want it to actually look thematic. And taking that amount of terrain from a tournament table to make a thematic table, I think would be great. Yep. I don't want those shapes. I don't want those blocks or L's. But I'd be fine with that much for a terrain table.
Exactly. I don't want this much. I don't want this little.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fair.
Somewhere in between.
Yeah. So that brings me to kind of my reasoning behind my players packet and what I've come up with is maybe a fix for area terrain.
Okay.
So this is my players packet for the Texas Open. I think the easiest fix for area terrain is to not make it infinitely high. I think you limit it to the height of its tallest piece. So in the instance of my example here, I've got a building before I painted it, but obviously this is one of the work in progress buildings. You've got a large square building. I'm going to cut a lot of these excess pieces off here. This was just kind of a put it down and then rework it later type of thing. But in this instance, you've got a unit of salamanders that want to shoot giant ugly worm.
Sure.
They check line of sight. Worm is more than 3 inches away. Worm is invisible. Even though the worm is taller than the terrain, it is still in the terrain.
Yep, that's area terrain.
But if the worm is behind the terrain, because it is taller,
not inside of it.
Yep. So I think this gives us a mix of what used to be, I think it was 4th or 5th edition.
That's 5th.
Was it 5th where if you got your toe in it, you were invincible?
Yeah, that's 5th edition right there. If you are touching the terrain, you are in the terrain.
Yep.
So I don't want to recall back to 5th edition 40K of terrain rules where I'm touching it, I got a 4-up cover save at the end, no matter what. No matter where I am inside this, I got a 4-up cover save. If you're inside of it, you have a 4-up. If both of us are inside of it, we have a 4-up. I don't want that. I like cover giving a 5-up save. I think it's fair.
Yep.
I do not really fancy the infinitely high. And to be honest with you, I don't really like if you're more than 3 inches inside of it, you can't be seen. But I get where they're going with it. I accept it. I can understand it.
I like it because a lot of GW buildings come with windows.
Yep.
And that way you don't have to go fill every window.
Yeah, I agree. That is definitely something, since I don't buy GW buildings for terrain, I get and I respect.
Especially when it comes to these frontierist buildings, they are forced cut out. And then you get a number of pieces to fill in the windows, but you never get enough to fill all the windows.
Yeah. My personal preference would be all terrain is as tall as it is. If something is towering over the terrain because it's a giant worm, like in your pictures, if it is towering above the terrain and you can see it sticking out above the terrain, like it's a knight, shoot that sumbitch with as many last cannons as you want. It's above the terrain. Yes, it'll get a 4-up or a 5-up cover save. Who cares? But you should still be able to see it. That's my opinion. But again, the rules being what they are, if individual people who are running individual events want to change it, I respect that.
Yeah. I wanted something that is the least amount of changes to the rules, while also changing the way that the terrain plays. And so in this instance, the least amount of changes is it's not infinitely tall. That's it. That's the only change I got.
Nope, that makes sense.
You got a minor change to the rule book. I would love to do what you're saying Like you can shoot things that are in terrain if they're taller than the terrain, but then that adds like a paragraph and a half, and then people argue like, well, my knight is taller than this part of the building, so therefore it should be shot, or things like that.
I agree, and I don't like those arguments. I don't want to have people causing those arguments, and I don't want to cause those arguments when following the actual basic generic rules that come with the book tells you how to play it. I respect that.
Yep. The other thing is light area terrain. Again, GW didn't use this at all in their games, or mentioned cover saves if they did use it. I've been building a lot more of these type of things. I think craters should be light, and I think that a lot of bigger pieces of terrain should kind of be like this, where it's just there to kind of slow you down and grant a 6-up cover save.
I get it.
So I think maybe 1 or 2 of these per table.
But also, don't they make vehicles go? You basically have to make most vehicles go around them, right?
Yeah, they can't go through the pieces themselves.
Yeah.
So in the Stonehenge example, it's on the screen. The vehicle would just have to divert around it. In the tent trap example, they would have to drive down the center. If they're that narrow, it's about a rhino's width apart.
Yep, I mean that does make sense. I think,
and then the obvious fix to this, because I'm trying to view this as an event organizer, the obvious fix to this, if they don't like that, whatever you don't want to call area terrain, don't call it area terrain, just call it pieces of terrain, and then it's back to normal.
I think the best way to play right now, terrain-wise, would be to have between 2 and 3 pieces of area terrain that is light, same number of medium area terrain pieces, and then scatter terrain that is in clumps that can be blocking line of sight. I still think the area terrain areas need to be large enough to accommodate 1 to 2 squads for a fight inside of it, or people moving through it, or what have you. But I think line of sight blocking should be blocked purely by line of sight. But that's just how I personally prefer the game. Again, your mileage is going to be different than mine. Jack's will be different than mine. John's, Jamie's, everyone. Everyone has the way they like their tables to lay out and look. So I think the most equitable way is to always make certain that you and your opponent, or your event organizer, lays it out for you, or you and your opponent just agree, hey, this seems fair for what this is. Which is what you're supposed to do anyway.
Yep.
Jack, what do you think?
I think you and the person across the table from you agree what you're playing on, and then you move on.
Trust Jack to sum it up the easiest way possible.
Like, I end of the day, I don't care what's on there. I just want to have fun.
I mean, that's fair.
I'm really agreeable on things. I've tried a few games with unlimitedly high area terrain, and for the bonuses I got, I wanted to pull my hair out every time I thought I could see something, because it was a smallish building that was also 3 miles high.
As a person who doesn't have any hair to pull out other than beard hair, and I don't want to pull my beard hair out, I don't really care in some ways. Let the terrain be the terrain. I just want to sit here and push board ollies around and have a good time with friends. I want to see the cool models you made. I want you to see the cool models I made. I want to have fun. I want to socialize and not have to worry about the real world. So, more fun, the end. That's all that matters to me.
What I really want from GW is a breakdown of those tables and how they made them, because they look like there's 3 sleeves apiece. That's what I want. Except for that one.
That one.
Yeah.
That one has me confused. That looks like a giant single-piece table.
Yeah, so these ones, the 2K and 1K obviously use the same boards, I think. Well, no, never mind. This is the flat board with the rubble and things built in, but that was also the one that you could tell that they used on this battle report.
Yeah, Honestly, I kind of like the idea of doing 2x4 sections of terrain modded down on a table. But I also understand that spaces can be limited storage wise, so that's a problem. Which is why game mats exist to have a cool looking table.
Yeah, my giant city, which you all saw at Heresy Camp, I love that thing. I just don't bring it out because taking that one 6x4 table takes my entire truck. Whereas if I take the mats and tubs of terrain, I can get 8 tables in the back of my truck.
It was like Kimmel. He had his truck and a U-Haul, and I think a trailer when he brought all his tables to Adepticon one year.
Yep.
Heresy Camp, he had like 2. Didn't he have 2 U-Haul vans?
Yep.
I wouldn't know. Unfortunately, I didn't get to go to Heresy Camp.
Yeah, like Kimmel had 2 like big, cargo vans that were empty that they drove down with all their terrain in it. And he actually ended up he took home extra terrain too with him, I think.
I mean, it makes sense. If you're hosting events, have fun tables for people.
Well, I mean, like Michael was still working on terrain as the event was going on, like the wall, the big wall.
I heard about that.
He was basically working on it while like the event was going on for that on Sunday or whenever they had it.
Yeah, like here's shamelessly plugging myself, but here's some of the tables that I brought to Adepticon.
Yep, with the collapsed Serpentor, yeah.
Right, but I'm just saying that there's larger pieces that block line of sight, like this 2 foot by 2 foot section. Obviously, the Serpentor building blocks some line of sight. And the Warhound and the Crash Shuttle block line of sight.
Yep. Nope. Not disagreeing. I mean, it's cool. It's a very terrain dense table, and it's obviously blocking lots of line of sight. And thematic.
But you also have long shooting range lanes as well on that. So
yeah, for the most part, you've got decent road style shootings.
Yeah.
Which is also, I'm trying to get the pictures of the city pulled up because, I mean, it's a city. There's going to be lines of sight that are just down the streets, but almost completely limited otherwise.
So for anyone who wants to see what every single table at Adepticon 2025 looked like, I have all of them on my Instagram. You can find a link to my Instagram and those videos on our website, heresypodcast.com. Links to John and myself. So you can see John's pictures and the videos of our tables, the Adepticon terrain tables, and all the Ferrix tables from Adepticon 25. And I'll have the same video shot next year.
And I'm printing terrain for John as we speak.
Yay, more terrain for more terrain.
There we go.
So does that sum up most of the topic, or you have more stuff?
Yeah, that's pretty much most of the topic. Like here's the big city table I was just talking about. So this is on 2x2 squares. You don't have a lot of line of sight other than down the streets, and then maybe if a building is blown out, you can see over the next building. This was mainly built with City Fight in mind, but it's still a cool table for generic gaming. I just don't like if I was going to mark any of these things as area, it would probably be the little corners of these buildings. And then in that instance, yeah, you're cutting down the sight line from this Rhino to this unit of attack bikes.
I get it.
I think that's the biggest problem. I like what you said, but at the same time, you run into problems like this where you've got a quarter of a building that shouldn't block line of sight coming from the other side of the street.
I dig it.
I would love to completely just scrap the GW terrain rules and write them myself, but I wanted a small enough change that people couldn't complain too much and that didn't confuse everyone. And, then they go to someplace else and they're running something completely different. Friend of the show, Gabe, his latest thing was, he doesn't like going to events where every event he goes to has different rules for things. And I understand that. Like, I don't want to go one place and they're using Mournival rule updates here, and then I go to another place and they're not using those updates, and then third place and they're using half of them. Like, it's just annoying to have to basically relearn 3/4 of the game every time.
I get that. I agree. So, real quick question. And I mean nothing by this. Comparatively, how much terrain do each of us think should be on a table, on a regular game table? Obviously, anything like that where it's super huge would be near ZM level of terrain. So I'm not talking ZM, I'm just talking a regular 3K game.
Like 25%.
I think a good 25%. Like not where you push things and they have gaps between the buildings type of 25%. You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, I just kind of set the buildings in this corner of the table and they almost filled it, but it's like, in reality, it's like a quarter full.
A third.
Okay. I personally think somewhere north of somewhere north of half or a quarter is good. I think a third to somewhere just shy of a half is about right.
I mean, so it just depends on how it depends on how it's laid out. But like, I mean, you could have a bunch of little stuff, and it would just if you have a third of the table, but it's just all spaced out, and it can be an absolute quagmire. Whereas you can have like half the table covered, but you have like big open areas, you know, that are in the middle or whatever, or shooting lanes. So yeah,
Yep.
I'd say somewhere in that range. It just kind of depends on the type of terrain and the theming of it. But like less than, you know, I mean, less than a third, I just don't think's enough. I really don't.
That's fair.
Yeah. Like this thing, the 3K bat rep table, is that 20%, if that?
Well, I mean, like that big mound right there with the little L sticking off of it, that probably takes up 20% of the table. I mean,
but since it's not declared anything, I would likely just consider that a whole bunch of problem.
Yeah.
Right. So what I'm saying,
want big things, yes. Big things like that, no.
When I say a good 25%, most people would just push this into the corner and not fill in the gaps here.
Yeah.
Like they would just count this whole thing as one giant piece.
Yeah.
Whereas I would see it as this is empty, completely empty. Therefore, you should have terrain in here to fill in this gap.
I could see that.
So I think this is maybe 20% of a table, in my opinion, if that. Also, because everything is so low, except for the giant piece in the way.
I get it. I get it. Well, does that sum up the topic then for the night? For the most part?
Yeah, that was it. Unless our sneaky guest here wants to talk about 40K terrain.
Sure. Hi, Brian. Go ahead and introduce yourself, buddy, to everyone who doesn't know you.
Oh, God, we put him on the spot.
Yep.
He's probably not there.
He's probably wandered away like, these guys are talking about heresy.
He's napping.
Yeah, well.
All right, so Vince shout-outs?
Yes, let's do those.
So obviously talking about this because I'm running the Texas Open on January 16th, 17th, and 18th. We've got room for 50 people. I think I've gotten at least 15 signups according to the TO and more coming every day. So looking forward to seeing people there. That'll be in Louisville, Texas.
I would like to shout out Adepticon. It would kind of, honestly, it's kind of a cornerstone. We all basically know one another because of that. In some ways, that's really what we know, how we know one another other than Jack and myself. Adepticon 2026 is March 25th through March 29th of 2026. It is in the Baird Center in Milwaukee. The hotel blocks are open. Event registration is coming up. Registration for that starts January the 11th. I know events are being submitted.
What, middle December preview? Cart opens up?
Yep.
Yeah, middle December.
I'm running 2 Heresy events One of the Heresy events I'm running will be on March 25th. That will be a 3K, an escalation event, building up to 3K. And then I'll be running a second Heresy event on the 29th. That one will be a 4K. Bring your big toys. Play your big toys on the last day of Adepticon. That way everything gets blown off. You've brought your fun stuff. You've had fun. You can just have a big blow everything up game. I know there's going to be a lot more Heresy there. I know Ferrix guys are going to be there running events. I know there's other events that we run by the group that we are and associated with. I think there's a team game that people play in that we'll be playing in. I know there's a 4-man team. Jack, are you running anything there as well?
Running day one, a organized play where come in, knock off the dust, have fun, bring whatever you and your opponent agree on. If y'all want to do a 5,000 point game, do a 5,000 point game. If you want to do a 500 point game, do a 500 point game.
Come in, have fun. That's all that matters. That's what we want people to do. We will be there. The Heresy Accountabilibuddies Podcast will be there, loud and clear, and come say hello.
121 days till Adepticon right now.
Oh my god!
I don't know if I have enough time to paint all this. I better get cracking. Any other events we got to shout out? Jamie, you got anything?
I don't know any others.
Jack, you got anything?
Nope.
Brian, are you there or no? I'll call that a no.
He's still kidnapped.
Oh, hey,
There he is.
Brian, say hello.
Hola.
Sure, those are words. Introduce yourself for those who don't know you, since it's 150.
I'm Odin Stormfist, or Brian Byers. I'm usually the one that's organizing, or at least announcing the Wednesday night hobby hangouts on Monday mornings.
Yep.
And friend of the show and Patreon.
Yep. He's also the man behind the charity event armies when we get those painted for the most part. What are you working on lately?
The White Scars. And I was actually sitting here doing some weathering while you guys were talking.
Ooh, sounds neat. Want to show off a preview of what people could possibly be looking at for when that comes available?
Ooh,
Maybe.
let's see.
I bet he loves it when you put him on the spotlight at Duncan.
I know it. That's my favorite part. Provide embarrassment.
Oh, there you
Yep.
see his hands. I see a Adepticon.
I see a Dethroned cutting mat. I have that same one right here.
I see suicide speeders.
Side speeders.
Yep, those are definitely suicide speeders.
It will focus. Let's see.
This is
Are you using your trusty hover
That'll be
cam?
fine.
No, I have a different one.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
he went bougie on us.
Of course you did.
There you
There
go.
we go.
You can
Those
see all
are
the
nice.
weathering on it and everything.
Those are looking good.
Some
The
jet
bike and
bikes.
the jet bikes all look good too.
Yeah, I already like the jet bikes.
Mm.
Those are.
Oh
those are
no,
coming.
Jamie, you don't need to do a bunch of bikes. No jet bikes. We don't need those for an army.
Who would say such a thing for White Scars? Definitely not me.
Got a Land Raider.
Yep. Digging it.
Rhino.
Yep, that's definitely a rhino.
Ugh.
It's got all the bougie stuff on it too, like tow cables and stuff,
And a multi-melta.
and a gas can.
And a tow rope.
You're
Some
my
more
tow rope.
bikes.
Yeah, more regular bikes, because White Scars. Who wants bikes?
You know, Jamie,
With with what are they? Force pikes or javelins or whatever they call them.
Oh wait, I'll get to those. Those are over here too.
Those would be the golden Keshik. Yep,
And then
those
you got
are
dreadnoughts
contenders.
for the white scars that were bad. They say, here, we're putting you in a dreadnought for the rest of your life because, yeah, you were bad.
Yep, they're definitely cool looking.
We have a bunch of infantry, but they're just white coated right now.
That's fine.
And
Oh, look,
those.
Or
Yeah, golden Keshik. With Keshik lances things, or the Antos power lance. Yeah, those are looking cool.
and there,
That's
yeah,
a
there's
lot
a
of fun.
chaplain on a bike too. So
Yep,
with an eagle.
they're looking neat. Oh, one fall over. He's dead.
yeah, I've got them on these pegs and bases and when I'm done, they'll go on their bases, or I'll be able to move them off or on the bases. But,
Nice.
But yeah,
Nice. Definitely looking forward to seeing those completed for when we can figure out what we're going to do for those for charity. That'd be awesome.
Thank you, Brian.
Yes, we really appreciate you donating your time to this and putting all the effort into this, as you have done before as well.
for those that might not be familiar, I did most of the word bearers at 2024
Yes.
Yes.
or 20.
23.
No, 23.
Okay, 23.
Adepticon 23.
There's the last one at the old venue.
Yeah.
And then there was a Death Guard army before that.
Yep.
Imperial Fist army.
Well, we split that one.
Yeah.
We appreciate everything you do for the community as a whole, Brian. Your painting is phenomenal.
Thanks.
I've never seen a single person complain about your paint. Everyone who has seen it at tables has liked it. Everyone who's seen it on the various charity auctions and giveaways and all that has liked it as well. We really appreciate everything you've done for us and for the community as a whole.
Yep. Thank you, Brian.
Well, thanks.
You rock.
Final thing I want to touch tonight, if you all will allow me a moment. For everyone who may not have heard somehow, we have our new art available in the web store, and we're doing the Black Friday live sale all month long. You can find us at heresypodcast.com for all our links. Our store is linked on there, and you get 10% off anything you get through the store through December 1st with the code HABB store, all caps. Case sensitive there, so there's that. Other than that, I got nothing else. I just wanted to shout out that in case anybody wants some of the shirts or hoodies that we have available, or our other strange merch that somehow we have. Everything that people put into it goes into us putting more stuff out for people and giving away like posters and pins and things like that.
And shirts that have been made popular by what's that one?
Yeah. Huge
Midnight
shout
Ghoul.
out to Midnight Ghoul. He keeps doing videos on YouTube and Instagram and the TikTok things. And his stuff's all 40K and heresy related content, and it's cool. He paints as well on streams. He's a cool dude. He's out of Las Vegas, and he seems to like wearing some of our heresy shirts. So go check him out. He's linked on our website, and he's linked in our affiliate links here on the Discord. So show him some love. Throw him a couple of subscriptions. Watch his stuff. It's good.
John, did anybody ever win the contest?
Nobody entered, so it'll just be a patron drawing.
You want to do that on episode 151?
Sure.
Cool.
And then,
well, what are we gonna?
Go ahead, John. Duncan.
I was going to say, for those who are involved in the Secret Santa, remember, shipping deadline is coming up. John, when is the shipping deadline, and when are we doing the Secret Santa community opening?
So, a reminder, these are all pinned on the Secret Santa chat to make it easier if you don't remember these right now. But mailing this deadline is going to be December 3rd. And then on the 17th, we'll be taking over our weeknight hobby challenge to open the gifts.
We appreciate you for organizing all of that. For everyone who celebrates Thanksgiving, we hope you have a good Thanksgiving.
Yep. We
I
will
believe
be
we're
taking
not recording
week
next
off.
weekend.
Yep. Enjoy time with your families.
Don't eat too much, or do. We're not your dad. Unless we are, in which case,
Duncan, you have some
daughters don't eat too much. Yeah, no joke.
I will say that I will be around next week doing hobby hangouts, trying to get some painting done. So if anybody's up for that, even though we're not officially having a show, hop on the Discord and check that out and see if I know Brian will be around for a bunch of them probably, but so anybody's more than welcome to hop on.
Brian's painting.
You mean next Sunday?
Right now.
Yeah,
he is.
This is
Brian's a machine. Brian uses our nonsense for background material while he sits there and paints and shows all of us up.
I don't believe him.
Nor do I.
All right. Anything
Jamie,
else
you wanna? No, I don't think so.
So, one thing I have is thank you all for sticking with us to 150 episodes. A lot of podcasts don't make it out of the first 10, 15. So the fact that we have this is number 50 in a can is something
or 150 in a can.
Exciting and something that doesn't necessarily happens a lot. RFI only made it to 156 or something like that.
I don't know. We gotta look that up.
Yeah.
Hold on.
So, and that's what we took a lot of energy from, like having a good heresy focused, hobby centric podcast. Trying to build it.
RFI went to 177.
177. Sorry, my bad. 177. Even though that's not quantifiable because you can only find a handful of their episodes, so they could number them however they want it.
Yeah, we take a lot of inspiration, or took a lot of inspiration from them, the 500 Worlds, the Covenant of Fire, and Spacemen with Guns, and others who are out there now or out there previously. So for everyone who ever podcasted before, we appreciate you. Thank you for doing what you did before. We're glad to be doing it now. We're glad to still be here. We hope to happily still be here in the future here's to the next 150.
Absolutely. Y'all got me for the long ride.
I'm here until I'm not. Let's hope that's many, many episodes far away.
I'm here until it's time to take a nap.
Yeah,
that's fair.
I guess with that, thank you all for joining us on the 150th episode of the Heresy Accountabilibuddies Podcast. My name is John, and I've been joined by
Duncan,
Jack,
and Jamie.
And always remember to stay accountable to yourself, your friends, and your hobby. Always in that order. Have a good night.
But I have let you know that I didn't hit the record button like a while ago. Because I felt like everything we just did was great.
Joke doesn't work anymore.
Okay.
Did you seriously not record that?
I just looked down at it. So. Oops.
When did you stop recording, Jack?
I don't know.
During the break. The 30-minute break.
Yeah, about that.
So, did we forget? Was all the terrain stuff not recorded?
Oh, I'm kidding.
I will come over and shit in your bed.
I will mail a shit to you if that will help.
I will have Lily shit in your bed. And Lily's cat shit in your bed. And little Jack's dog shit in your bed.
Oh, Amber heard you so hard.
And ladies and gentlemen, I hope you stayed after the sign off to hear all of the shenanigans.
Good night. We love you all. See you next time.
Yeah. A terrible person, Jack.
I try my best. Bye.
At being your worst, yes.
Like and subscribe, and see ya.